What's going on, everybody? Welcome into Blazers Uprise Live. Let me get Eric up on the screen. My streaming software literally deleted every single camera of his, so just give me a second on that. And there we go. Welcome to the stream, Eric.
Thanks.
Little behind today on the graphics and whatnot and sorting out the streaming software, but we are ready to go for today's stream. We got picks against the spread, and then we're going to preview Lakers versus Clippers. It's a basic preview stream. It's always nice to have an episode of Blazers Uprise Live on a day in which the Blazers play a game so that we can pick them and then we can preview that said game. So that's what we're doing today. Before we hop into picks against the spread, if you're not a channel member on the main channel, or if you are a channel member, I dropped a film breakdown earlier this morning going over the first couple of games. That was a video that I enjoyed making, and I think it's a pretty good product. So if you're not a channel member, go to the main channel and click the join button. If you are, then check the community tab, as there is a members only community channel post there. We also just dropped power rankings. We're going to do that every Monday, and that should be a fun series. We compiled my, Eric's, Zach's, Reese's, Spencer Poole's, and Sean's, aka Embarking Boxes, power rankings. So we're going to do consensus power rankings throughout the season. That should be a pretty fun series. Anyway, Eric, how you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm doing pretty good, ready to get right into things. Let's look at the standings. You got Reese starting off very well. Very, very well. You got Jackson with his debut, Eric, starting off well. Trevin and Chat is 7-5. Zach and Eric are at 6-6. I am starting off like I ended last season. I am selling. I'm 5-7, and then Krish in his debut was only 4-8. So tough scenes for Krish. We'll see if he can bounce back today. You see the games there on the left. We got 9 of them today, so a pretty jam-packed day. Let's jump into game number 1. This is Boston taking on Charlotte. Boston is a 1.5-point favorite on the road, which was a spread that I was surprised to see. That makes me think that there's an injury for Charlotte. Eric says he has the injuries today. Eric, what is the situation in Charlotte?
Celtics are without Al Horford and Romeo Langford. Hornets are without PJ Washington and Terry Rozier. But the main reason for the spread is the Hornets played in Brooklyn last night, so they're on a back-to-back.
And they beat Brooklyn too, so that was a pretty
Brooklyn,
good win for them. All right, let me get the chat poll in there. You guys know the situation now. And I will post a chat poll.
I am going to go with Boston. I feel like Charlotte is going to have an emotional letdown after beating Brooklyn yesterday, and this will just be a game that gets away from them.
Alrighty, Eric is rolling with the Boston Celtics. I am going to roll with the Charlotte Hornets, despite them playing last night. This is a team that's playing well. Boston's still trying to figure out some things, so I am rolling with the Charlotte Hornets.
All right.
We'll get Mods' picks. There's a poll in chat. I'm just going to say game 1, game 2, game 3. There's no point to type it out. All the graphics are on the screen for you guys anyway, so go ahead and vote in chat poll. So glad I don't have to be counting things right now and telling people we haven't started counting votes yet. Don't vote yet. Oh man, I'm gonna miss that at some point. The chaos. Got some bigger spreads later on in today in some of these games. All right, let me pull up stream on my phone so I can easily see votes. All right, so you got Krish going Boston, Reese is going with Charlotte.
Zach went Charlotte, it looks like, as well.
Okay. And then you got. It's hard to see around the pool.
Yeah,
That's the only
Trevin.
downside with it.
Trevin said Celtics.
Okay. We're getting split votes right off the bat. What was Jackson's?
Much like last time, is he just gonna take forever to make his picks, or I missed it?
That's I'm fine with him taking a little bit of time, but let's see. You got 60% Charlotte, 40% Boston. In 20 seconds, I'm going to end that poll.
Should maybe just put the spread in the poll because people might get confused.
Yeah, I'll put it in parentheses.
Yeah.
Yeah. If they only look at the poll and don't look at the graphics. Yeah, that's actually a good point.
Jaylen Brown is expected to play tonight, but Jackson is going Hornets because of his health.
Interesting. All right, so Trevin, Eric, Krish going with the Boston Celtics. Everybody else is going with the Charlotte Hornets. Let's move on to...
What was the percentage?
60%. That's
yeah.
right. Or 59, yeah. Whatever it says.
Thanks.
Whatever it says there.
Yeah.
Let's move on to game number 2, which is going to be Milwaukee versus Indiana. Milwaukee is only a 2-point favorite, this game being played Indiana. Indiana's first 3 games have been close. What's the injury situation, Eric?
So Bucks are out without a lot of people. Drew Holiday being the major one. Brooke Lopez also out. DiVincenzo out. Portis out. And Semi Ojeleye out as well. The Pacers are without Warren, and LeVert was supposed to be reevaluated today. It doesn't look like he's going to play. So those are the 2 big ones for the Pacers.
Okay, I'm just not going to overthink it. I'm going to wait on this one. I am going to overthink it, Eric.
I'm going to take the Bucks.
All right, Eric's going with the road.
With the road favorites.
All right, that's the Bulls. Let me fix that.
Trevin's also going Bucks.
All right.
Rip City 1977 with the $2 donation says, "Who's ready for some Blazers basketball, y'all?"
I'm ready. After last game, I'm definitely ready.
I'm pumped.
They better not revert back to the preseason. That would be disappointing. All right, let me get this chat poll up.
Jackson's going Bucks. Zach is going Bucks. Zach, Trevin, and Jackson all Bucks so far.
All right, Zach, Trevin, Jackson going Bucks. I'm also going to go Bucks.
Reese is going Pacers against the grain. Reese is going to blow his lead in the first 3 games to me.
It's going to be hard to get a clean sweep this year, man. It's going to be hard.
That's good, though.
Yeah, I like that. What's Krish's? Has Krish voted yet?
I've not seen a Krish vote, but now the poll is in my way.
Yeah, I wish they put it somewhere else.
And when the spread's this low, it doesn't really factor in too often. But so Milwaukee -2 means that Milwaukee has to win by more than 2 in order for you to win your side of the.
Yeah, and if Milwaukee wins by exactly 2, it's just going to end up being a draw, a tie, and we won't put those in the records. There's no point. There's no point. We already barely have enough room for records on these graphics anyway. So.
Krish went Pacers as well.
All
he
right,
wants
Krish
to fall further behind.
Yeah, you can't close the. You can't close the poll.
Yeah, I can close it, but then it. Yeah.
I don't know if it still reports it. I will give chat another 20 seconds on this. Since double downs haven't been decided, I'll make sure to let everybody vote for the most part in that poll.
In people's mix, we know the math doesn't even out correctly sometimes on the poll. That's because they don't have the percentages after that. So it could be like 49.5 to 50.5 or whatever. So that's why it doesn't always add up.
All right, so chat is going with Milwaukee as well. That's 66% of the vote, Eric.
All
yeah,
right.
we're just gonna go with the number that it says after I close the poll, the poll complete tab. That's just the easiest thing to do. Yep. All right, game number 3. You got I don't know why it's saying Boston for me. You got Detroit, Atlanta. This game being played in Atlanta. Atlanta is a 10.5 point favorite. Pretty big spread there. What is the injury situation, Eric?
For the Pistons, they are, of course, without Cade Cunningham still, and then Jeremy Grant is also out tonight. The Hawks have Danilo Gallinari, DeAndre Hunter, and Okongwu all out, but everyone else is good to go.
This is a tough spread, Ben. I don't like taking Atlanta up 10.5.
I'm going to take Atlanta.
All right, Eric's rolling with Atlanta. Let me make the poll.
Zach is taking the Pistons. Jackson's taking the Hawks. Chris is taking Detroit.
All right, so you said Chris and Jackson taking Detroit?
No, Chris and Zach.
Okay.
Reese, Jackson, and myself have taken the Hawks.
All right, I'm also going to take the Hawks.
So yeah, like on this one, the Hawks have to win by 11 for the Hawks to win this game in picks against the spread.
Yep.
Hey, going against the grain with the Pistons worked a couple times for me last year.
Yeah, if they had Jeremy Grant, then I'd be definitely on the fence with this one and probably leaning Detroit, but without Jeremy Grant, it's a little tough for me.
Trevin went Hawks.
Right. So you got 73% ATL. I will give chat another 10 seconds to decide on that one. All right. So you got Atlanta at, I think it's going to show 70%. We'll see, but this will be chat's double down as of now. 72% for Atlanta. Wow. All right, so chat is going with the Atlanta Hawks. Let's move on to game number 4. You got Washington heading into Brooklyn. The Nets are a 6-point home favorite.
So for Washington, they are without Thomas Bryant and Rui Hachimura. It looks like Bradley Beal is going to go in this one. The Nets are without Kyrie, of course, and also LaMarcus Aldridge tonight.
Alrighty. I'm gonna wait on making this. This is a tough one, man. Brooklyn being a 6-point favorite, but they've kind of struggled, and Washington has won their first 2 games. I'm gonna go with Washington.
I'm gonna go with the Nets. Jackson and Chris went with Nets as well. Trevin's going Brooklyn because Beal is back. That's funny.
All right, so you, Trevin, and who?
Jackson and Chris are all on the Nets.
Oh, wow. Okay, am I going to be on an island here?
Zach is Nets.
Alrighty.
The poll is yes or no.
Did I really say yes or no?
Oops.
Okay, never mind. Right now, no is ahead with 52% of the vote. Okay, my bad.
Do we want to redo it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know what no would be tied to there.
No would, I guess, be them covering the spread would be no, I guess.
Something. Oh my goodness. All right, game 4, Brooklyn -6. You got Waz and Buchanan. All right.
Reese took the Nets as well.
All right, you guys are really trying to put me on an island here. I'm kind of nervous now. I'm kind of scared.
Double down.
I can't double down against the Nets with the Wizards. Not gonna let you egg me on into dumb decisions this year, Eric.
Oh, that's always fun to do that.
I know, yeah,
Island double down.
because then I get screwed, and then it's funny.
No, we all did it.
Yeah,
Remember that one time where we were all like on an island one game and we all did it?
Yeah. See, if it was that way, I'd be down.
Mm-hmm.
If there was more islands, but there's not enough islands for me to do it. All right. Right now it's 4:05:22. I'll let it go to 4:06, and then I'll end the poll.
I mean, the Nets haven't looked very good, and the Wizards have looked pretty good. So
Harden looks different, man. I don't know what it is. Harden doesn't look like normal James Harden to me. I don't know what it is. I don't know if he's out of shape or what.
I think Nash came out today and said it was his hamstring was still kind of bothering him in the sense that he wasn't able to condition the way he could have all summer. So yeah,
that's not good.
And yeah, some people think it's the elimination of the foul baiting because he's only averaging like 3.8 free throws a game.
You
down
love
from
to
like
see
10.
it. Yeah, see, that's the thing is he becomes a 25 point per game scorer in Houston with these rules compared to like a 33. So, all right, I'll end the poll.
I think a little bit too is just like when you have that many good players, it's hard to just not just take turns, and
yeah.
Oh, Washington
I mean, it's
wins.
only him and KD at this point. Like they don't really have other shot.
No, I know,
creators.
but KD's so good. It's I don't know.
Yeah.
They don't have much like continuity or fluidity of the offense and stuff. It just like I watched the game yesterday, and it just seemed like they were. One of them was like pretty much always in the game, but it was just like whoever's in there can just make something happen.
Yeah. So chat joins me. Chat didn't want me to be alone on an island. Thank you for joining me on this island, chat. Everybody else going with the Brooklyn Nets. Let's move on to game number 5. You got Orlando taking on Miami. Miami is a 13-point home favorite against their interstate rival.
And Magic played yesterday. And Cole Anthony balled out. Had one of the best games of the season so far. But tonight, the Magic are without Jonathan Isaac, Markelle Fultz, Chuma Okeke, Michael Carter-Williams, and Etuan Moore. It looks like Lowry is going to play for the Heat, and the only injury they have is Oladipo is out.
Interesting. All right. I'll put the poll in chat.
Man, 13. I'm gonna go with the Heat this one.
I'm also going Heat. They blew out the Bucks, so they can blow out the Magic.
And they lost a lot.
Yeah. They seem like a team that's going to be really hard to pick.
Mm-hmm. They were last year.
Team that's just up and down constantly.
I mean, Lowry didn't play in their loss, so that was probably part of it.
No, definitely. All right. Let me know what the other votes are. I'm almost caught up on the graphics for future games.
Reese and Chris went Heat. So,
all right, Reese and Chris.
Trevin also said Heat. So
Reese.
everyone is on the Heat so far. Trevin, he did. If he left that game early, it was late in the game because he did score in the second half.
Did Jackson go?
Yeah, everyone's Heat except for I don't know, chat.
Except for chat. Okay. Alrighty, chat. Let's see here. I will end the poll in 5 seconds. Get your votes in. Because right now this is the leader for Double Down. So it might be a little bit surprising. Alright. Miami gets 76% of the vote, Eric. So our first clean sweep of the season, I think, is on a 13-point favorite in the Miami Heat. Slightly surprising there. All right. Game number 6. You got Chicago versus Toronto. Chicago is a 2-point road favorite.
So Kobe White's out for the Bulls. The Raptors are without Siakam and Watanabe. But other than that, both teams seem relatively healthy. Vucevic was questionable, but it looks like he's going to play.
Jackson is going with Chicago. I am going to go with the... Oh, wait, no. I got to fix this. Toronto's the home team, right? Yeah.
Toronto's home team, yeah.
Good. Okay, I haven't messed up the graphic in terms of which team's on the right and left yet this year. We'll see how long I can last. So Jackson's going with the Bulls. I am going with the Raptors. I don't trust Chicago. Scotty Barnes has looked good. I feel like this is going to be a good game for Toronto at home. They struggled in their home opener. I feel like they're going to bounce back.
I'm going to take the Bulls.
Alrighty. Trevin's going Bulls. Eric's going Bulls. By the way, mods, do not look at any scores, any games tipping off right now. We are a little bit late, but that's completely fine.
Every game from here on out is after 4:30, so
yeah.
So it won't matter.
Krish is going with me.
In terms of double down, I guess.
Yeah, in terms of double down. Yeah. Krish is going Raptors. It's kind of hard to tell these logos apart. They're like the same exact color. Reese is going Bulls. Do you have Zach's pick? Oh, I didn't make a chat poll.
Zach picked Raptors. I've taken all the road teams on small spreads and all the home teams on huge spreads.
That's interesting. We'll see if that works out for you.
10-0 day, baby.
Chat, I'll give you like 40 seconds to make your picks.
Trevin says picking against Chicago is going to be your downfall this year because you hate them and are going to.
I don't hate them.
No people's mix. Only, at least they have a poll, but at this time only Tori can do it.
I wish you could do it. That would make things a lot easier.
It would, but
unfortunately not.
All right, what you got, chat? People's mix coming in here. The second stream. asking all the questions we answered the first one.
I'm ending poll in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Right now, the double down leader is Miami with 76%. Chicago only got 70.
70.
But yeah, chat is indeed going with Chicago. All right. So in the next game, game number 7, you got New Orleans and Minnesota. Minnesota's a 5.5 point spread, probably the highest spread in the history of picks against the spread for Minnesota. What you got for injuries, Eric?
Timberwolves have no one injured right now. The Pelicans have Zion, and Josh Hart is out for this game.
Yeah, Zion, when's he supposed to be back? Do you know?
I know that he's going to miss at least the first 2 weeks of the season, but it's looking like it might be longer because of conditioning and stuff as well. But yeah, so I don't know. That whole situation's weird.
Yeah, dude, it's always been weird with Zion since his rookie year.
I am taking the Wolves.
Alrighty.
I'm not going to doubt them until they prove me wrong, but they play a lot. They play all these easy teams and beat them. So
I'm also going the Wolves.
I have a question about that. I want to ask you when we're done with picks against the spread.
Okay. About the Wolves?
Just in general, about like playing easy teams and stuff.
Okay. Sounds like a good conversation topic. All right, so everybody's going Wolves so far. Did I forget to make the poll again?
Zach took the Pelicans.
Oh, Zach took the Pelicans. Zach is going against the grain. That's Zach's MO. Zach is going with the Pelicans. All right, let me make this poll because this could be the double down. We'll see.
I could have guessed that Reese would have taken the Timberwolves.
Reese is a bigger Timberwolves fan than he is a Blazer fan.
I should have just marked.
When do we play
now.
the Timberwolves, man? Because Reese is going to be very conflicted.
I don't know.
All right, chat. Here is your poll. I'll give you about 40 seconds again. Alrighty. This could be the double down. Right now, Minnesota at 78% to start things off early. If you're just tuning in, we're doing picks against the spread. Pick who you think not will win this game, but based on the spread, make your choice in the chat poll. Minnesota's a 5.5 point favorite. If they win by 6 or more, pick Minnesota. If you think they'll win by 5 or less or lose, pick New Orleans. Reese somehow was purified in the waters of Lake Minnetonka at birth. Alrighty. I give you 10 seconds, chat. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This was pretty close, but New Orleans pulled back enough to not make this chat's double down. They do go with the Minnesota Timberwolves, though. Now let's move on to the second to last game. It's not our game yet. That is last, but you got Cleveland and you got Denver. And you got Denver as a 9.5 point favorite.
So, obviously Jamal Murray is out for the Nuggets, but other than that, they're relatively healthy. Darius Garland and Windler were questionable. They were limited participants in shoot around this morning. I'm just going to check one last time on Garland real quick. See if they have updated it, but since it's a later game, so yeah, last update I see is he's still listed as questionable, so tough the one there.
Okay, I'm taking Cleveland. They got the size for Jokic to give him some issues, in my opinion. Let me post the poll.
I'm gonna stick with my theory tonight and take the home big favorite.
You always go into these with like some sort of trend or theory or thesis.
Well, sometimes that's better than just randomly picking gut or feel. So
Yeah, Jackson's going Cleveland.
I wasn't setting out to do that tonight. Just worked out that way.
All right, Zach's going Cavs. By the time mods are done voting, I'm ending this poll, by the way. Waiting on Krish, waiting on Reese, waiting on Trevin. Reese says, this is so tough. And then he goes Denver. All right. Waiting on Trevin, waiting on Krish. I gotta start remembering to make the polls at the start because I would love to just end the poll once mods are done voting. Krish is going with the Nuggets. Trevin is going with Denver. All right. So Trevin is going with Denver as well. Let me end this poll. Denver gets 54% of the vote. So chat is also going with Denver. Me, Zach Jackson, going with the Cavaliers. All right, now it's time for
let's go.
The final game, and this might end up being a clean sweep. Portland against the Clippers, who are 0-2. The Clippers are a 3-point home favorite.
I'm taking the Blazers. Just got a good feeling. We'll elaborate more later.
Yup.
Oh, so Powell and Snell are out for the Blazers, Kawhi and Ibaka for the Clippers. And they have some into the bench guys that might not play too, but no one that should see minutes, so it doesn't matter. Did you do yes or no?
No.
Darren says I vote yes.
He's trolling. He's trolling me.
That's hilarious.
All right, Zach says Blazers, and that's apparently his double down.
Again? Uh-oh. Zach, I hope you did not just jinx it.
Yeah, Zach jinxed it.
Did not go well last time.
Wait, Reese hasn't picked yet. Whoops. Reese, Trevin, Krish. Trevin went Blazers.
Krish went Blazers. Reese went Blazers.
All right, we're gonna get a clean sweep here.
Thought he might have.
Chat right now is 86% Blazers. I will give them 5 more seconds because at this point it looks like this is going to be chat's double down. Alrighty. 84% of the vote going to the Blazers for chat. That means they pick the Blazers here, and that's their double down, correct, Eric?
Yep.
Alright, let's move on to...
Oh. Let me ask you this question real quick.
Well, I'm moving on to double downs, but...
Okay, yeah. Okay, never mind. Yeah, double downs.
Yeah.
Double downs.
We also gotta get your camera in here, so let me go and... Because I don't know why I deleted it from every scene, man. I don't understand that. Doesn't make sense. It's never been an issue. Alright, we'll just fade Eric into here. Here we go. Alright, so... Chat's double down is the Blazers. Zach said his double down is the Blazers.
Mm-hmm. Trevin is doubling down on Minnesota.
Trevin is going.
That's who I was considering.
And now you don't want to.
I don't know.
I don't like any of these. The only spread I liked was one of the games that's already tipped off, so I don't want to go there.
I am going to double down on the Hawks. I'm going to be bold tonight.
Hawks.
Yep.
They're 10.5 point spread. All right. I'm looking through the stream to see if there's a spread I like. You know what? Screw it. I'll double down on the Blazers as well.
All right.
Even if I wasn't a Blazers fan, this is probably the spread I would like the most. Reese is doubling down on the Hawks, so he is joining you, Eric.
Oh, man. All right. Well.
And then we're waiting on Jackson and Chris. Chris is going Portland, so we got 4 double downs on Portland.
Yikes.
Portland better show out, man.
This could hurt a lot of people.
I picked Kings on day number 1, so
yeah,
I've been on it. And then we're waiting on Jackson, debating between Wolves and Bulls. Go Bulls. He goes Wolves. All right, so we only have 3 teams being double downed on. Me, Zach, Krish, and Chat are going with Portland. Reese and Eric are going with the Hawks. And then Trevin and Jackson are going with the Timberwolves. All right.
Good luck, everyone.
Yep, good luck, everybody. We'll see how this goes. That concludes picks against the spread. Let's just take one more look at the standings. That's where the standings are as we head into today. All right, Eric, what's this magical question you got for me?
So I'm sure you might have noticed this when you were doing your power rankings.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of teams that are getting a lot of love for being undefeated. Bulls, Timberwolves, that have basically played nobodies or teams that are missing their best player or whatever. So as a Blazer fan, we know that our first 20 games are very difficult. Would you rather have the path the Blazers do, where later in the season they get all the easy games, or would you rather, are you kind of jealous of some of these other teams that are playing the Pelicans right now without Zion, and the Pistons without Cade Cunningham and Jeremy Grant and stuff like that?
See, here's the thing. Like, my whole thing is, it doesn't matter, because if you're struggling to start the season and you're playing a hard schedule, sure, you're probably going to lose a lot of games. But if you're playing an easier schedule, sure, you'll win more games, but you'll also lose more games against easier teams. You also have more bad losses than if you played a harder schedule. So then if you start playing well later in the season, I don't know, I think just in the end it balances itself out no matter what. So maybe it'd be better for the team to have an easier schedule to kind of ramp things up, but also it's like when you're trying to cultivate a level of intensity defensively, it helps to be able to go up against the Phoenix Suns in game 2.
Right.
And that's the thing, the team's going to get super amped up for that game, whereas if they're playing the, I don't know, Minnesota Timberwolves, I don't think they have the game 2 that they did against the Phoenix Suns. I think there's a chance that they would have possibly lost against the Timberwolves to go to 0-2, just because they might not have gone in with the mental intensity. So it could actually be a good thing, because they have to get geared up for a lot of Western Conference playoff teams. They're going to get up for those games, and I feel like that can set the tone for the rest of the season, even as they head into easier parts of their schedule where they're used to getting up for games. They have the level of intensity defensively that they need, and that's become a habit because of the first 20 games. They've been forced to defend at a really high level in order to take care of business. So overall, I think I'm not jealous of teams like that. I don't think teams like that should be overrated. So that's something that I kind of reflected in my power rankings.
They are, though, big time.
They are. So Minnesota, Chicago, absolutely. Charlotte beat Brooklyn. That was a good one last night. So Charlotte has a better win than either of those two teams. But overall, it's just early on in the season. I'm not going to read too much into teams being undefeated. We see it every year where a team starts like 6-1 or something like that, and then they're a bottom feeder. Minnesota did that a couple years ago, if I recall correctly. So you always kind of have stuff like that, quirks like that, with a small sample size. So that is my beat around the bush answer, Eric.
Yeah. In my opinion, it kind of depends on what happens. Because if we're like 5-15 or something after 20 games, then I'm going to wish we had an easy schedule. However, if we're like 13-7 or something like that, and then we still have most of our easy schedule left, this team could possibly be looking at contending for a top seed in the conference.
Yeah,
So,
they just have to be able to,
yeah.
because we've seen this team have trouble getting up for some opponents or
Mhm.
like consistently putting worse teams away.
Yeah,
So that has to be a change this year if they want
for sure.
a top seed. Is they have to absolutely take care of business against bad teams and not have letdowns and not get up by 12 points and then take their foot off the gas and make it a game where their starters have to play the whole thing, and then the next game their starters aren't as rested as they should be and therefore they lose. So it's a situation where, yeah, I mean, this first 20 games will be interesting to see what they're at, because if they play like they did a couple nights ago, then they could have a really good first 20 games despite the tough schedule. And if they play like they did on opening night, then we could be staring at 500 at best. So that's the thing, is I'll segue this into the preview for tonight's game. It's hard to get a feel for what the Blazers are at this point.
Right.
Like we don't know what they are, Eric. We don't know if game 2 was an outlier. The thing is we know they're capable. And game 2 showed they're capable. Game 2 just didn't show that they can consistently do it. And in my film breakdown, which if you're not a channel member, hit the join button on the main channel to become a channel member and get the link to my film breakdown that I did for the first 2 games. Like, I'm seeing CJ McCollum playing phenomenal defense, Eric.
Yeah.
CJ McCollum looks, game number 2 played maybe the best defensive game I've ever seen him play, and I don't think that's a coincidence. I think that's Chauncey Billups being the head coach, holding him accountable, teaching him what to do. But I've always knocked CJ McCollum for his off-ball defense. His off-ball defense in game number 2 was superb. It was really good, and I showcased that with a couple of different clips in that film breakdown. And that's the thing, is I always thought CJ was more capable defensively than he showed, and other people argued with me saying no, he's not. I think game number 2, it showed what he can be as a defensive player. He was contesting shots on Devin Booker, forcing him into misses despite his lack of size. He was doing stuff like stunting at the ball handler, forcing Booker to pick up his dribble, then getting back out on his guy and contesting his shot. And that was Jay Crowder, a bigger player than him, but he almost made Jay Crowder airball because he had such a good contest. Just stuff like that, and he's been getting steals, he's been getting blocks. He blocked Devin Booker 3 times. It looked like steals. It was kind of ripping him down low, all 3 of them, but 3 times on Devin Booker, man. He outplayed Devin Booker offensively, and part of that is because he D'd Devin Booker up defensively. So I think this team is definitely capable. We just have to see the consistency.
The tough part for me about this game is I'd also say the same thing about the Clippers. It's like they haven't really played bad, but they haven't played great either. And I know that's in there based on the way some of those guys played in the playoffs last year. So they're still a scary team, but I also feel confident that if we do the right things, we should be able to go down and win this game, and that would be a huge momentum builder for this early season.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're more talented than them, even with Norman Powell missing. I mean, they're missing Kawhi. I'll take Dame over Paul George any day. And then their players beyond that are very iffy to me. Eric Bledsoe had a good game 1. He's kind of a guy who's had some moments in the league before, but also looked terrible last year, so he's a bit of a wild card in my opinion. I'll go and look at their box scores just to kind of provide more.
They've only played 2 games like us.
Yeah, they've only played 2 games, so that's the thing, is you have other teams that are playing their 4th game tonight, and we're only playing our 3rd. But the Clippers have lost to the Warriors in their first game, only by 2 though, and then the Grizzlies by 6, and the Grizzlies are playing solid basketball right now. So it's not like the Clippers have a bad loss. So that's where you don't want to read too much into their record. Paul George has been phenomenal. He's averaging 35 points per game and 10.5 rebounds per game through the first 2 games. So he looks good. It's just, what are their other guys going to do? It's all about other guys in this game, in my opinion, because I think CJ has been our best player through 2 games. I think CJ and Paul George can kind of offset each other. Or if Dame has a good game instead of CJ, then Dame and Paul George. What are the role players going to do? And I think we have an advantage in that area.
Yeah, Reggie Jackson scares me a little bit just because he can get hot, and he's the kind of guy who can create and kind of break down a defense no matter how good you're playing. But So I looked up some stats for these two teams, and so 2 games, so take it with a grain of salt.
Mm-hmm.
But so far, as of right now, the Blazers are first in offensive efficiency, offensive ratings, right back to where we were last year.
Yep.
The Clippers are actually tied for last in defense. So they have not been good defensively in the first 2 games. So you look at that on paper and see, oh, it's a huge mismatch. So hopefully we can take advantage of that. We don't have trouble scoring and we move the ball well. The Clippers are 5th in offense and the Blazers are 19th in defense. So a little closer on that end. So if we can kind of somewhat hold their offense down and do what we've been doing on the offensive end, this on paper should be an easy win for us.
Yeah, and obviously those ratings are going to change around a bunch.
Yeah, they're going to fluctuate a lot.
Sizes. Yeah. So, but I mean, being first in offense and 20th in defense, or you said 19th in defense?
Yeah, we're 19th right now.
That's a big improvement. It's still not above average, but
yeah,
I mean, if we can be 19th in defense and #1 in offense, that's
interesting. The Kings were, if I'm not mistaken, one of the top offenses last year, right? In terms of
and they crushed us in transition. In terms of our half-court defense, I'd bet that it's been borderline top 10.
And the Suns were up there too. So we played 2 tough offensive teams, and we have another one tonight.
I mean, so that's the thing. It's going to be interesting, like 10 games in, to look at those numbers and see where they lie.
And so, speaking of fast break, so right now Clippers are 11th in fast break points, so almost top 10. But they're also 7th in efficiency on fast break. So they don't run a lot, but they're really good when they do. So you just got to limit that, especially guys we mentioned like Paul George and Reggie Jackson, Bledsoe. Don't let them get easy buckets. And then we're both middle of the pack in assists. I think we're right around like 14th and 15th, both of us. So good place to be for both teams, I think. And we're actually, Clippers are #1 by a lot, and we're #2 in turnovers per possession. So they do not turn the ball over. For all the sloppiness of the preseason and a little bit the first half of the first game for us, since the first half of the Kings game, we've been really good taking care of the ball.
Yeah.
But this is a situation where the Clippers aren't going to turn it over a lot, so they're going to get a lot of shots on the rim. So not only do we have to contest those shots, but we also need to make sure we're getting rebounds and not letting them get second chance points.
The Clippers against the Grizzlies last game had 14 offensive rebounds. 5 of those were from Eric Bledsoe. 4 of those were from Zubac. 4 of those were from Terrence Mann.
Yeah.
So it's a situation where the guards have to box out. The guards have to help on the defensive glass. We've been getting out and running, but you got a couple of guards here. I mean, Bledsoe and Terrence Mann, they're guards that got 4 and 5 offensive rebounds in their last game. So it's a situation where it has to be kind of rebounding by committee. I think having Nas in the starting lineup will help our rebounding compared to a Norman Powell. I think that's kind of the one upgrade there. I assume Nas is in the starting lineup. Have they released that yet?
They have not released the starters yet, as far as that.
It's either going to be Nas or Larry Nance Jr. I would personally. Who would you go with, Eric?
I would start Nas. Just give him that assignment. Let him grow up.
Paul George.
Yep, just put him on Paul George and let him get that mentality I was talking about. If you want to be a good defender, you have to prove it on the floor, and I think he will have that mindset if you just tell him you got this, shut him down, and he goes into that game. He might not do it, but at least he gives it a shot, and if he gets in foul trouble or he struggles early, then you just make a quick substitution. I don't think it's that bad.
Yeah, I mean, if we shut down Paul George, it's really hard to shut him down, but if we do a good job on him defensively, I think we have this game in the bag. Because Reggie Jackson scares you a little bit, but I mean, none of their other players really scare me. Not enough of them. I think it's a situation where Paul George has carried their team and they've still been losing games, Eric. He's averaging 35 a game. They're 0-2. So if you do a good job on him defensively, I mean, sure, Reggie Jackson might have a solid game, but I don't think both Reggie Jackson and Eric Bledsoe are going to have a solid offensive game. Bledsoe was solid in game 1. In game 2, he was 3 for 11. And I think that's more around where Eric Bledsoe is at this point in his career. So it's a situation where one of those guys probably has a good offensive game in their backcourt, and then who else scares you? Batum isn't a scorer. Zubac isn't really a scorer. Marcus Morris can have a good game here or there, but he doesn't worry me at all. Off their bench, Luke Kennard, Nick Batum, Isaiah Hartenstein, Terrence Mann. That's the 4 guys they've been playing off the pine. I don't. None of those guys really worry me a whole lot. And now that I say this, one of those guys is going to pop off. Isaiah Hartenstein is going to have like 23 points, and Reese will be in group chat saying, "See, we should have picked him up." But I don't know. I think it starts with Paul George. It starts with Paul George because everywhere else, I think we have an advantage in terms of talent. And that's why I picked us to win this game. That's why I doubled down on us, because we got to give Paul George multiple bodies. He has to see multiple looks. You can't run drop scheme on him. Thank goodness we're not going to do that to Eric.
Yep. I expect us to throw some harder traps at him this game.
Yeah. This will be the first like big forward/wing, like good big wing that we've played. Because we played De'Aaron Fox in game number 1.
I don't know. Harrison Barnes looks like the MVP, right?
See, that's what I'm saying. Is like Harrison Barnes dropped 36 on us, so we get another chance. You don't want to overhelp off of Paul George to help onto a guy like Eric Bledsoe. The thing is, we're overhelping off of Harrison Barnes in times where the help wasn't even needed, and it wasn't even the guy guarding Harrison Barnes' responsibility to help in the first place. So overall, it's just going to be interesting to see how we defend Paul George tonight. Everywhere else, I'm not too worried. You say they don't turn over the ball much, but we play probably a more aggressive defense now than most teams in the league, which is just still weird to say at this point. So it'll be interesting to see how that turnover. Yeah, the turnover numbers and Paul George's scoring against Nasir Little, assuming he starts, which I agree I would start Nas. Those are the 2 things I'm looking for most.
And Damani with the $2 donation says, "Did I miss you? Give the latest on Norm's injury." We said he was out, but yeah, we didn't really talk about it. So he's got patellar tendinopathy, which is Dame had a version of this in his hamstring last year. It's basically just like a worse version of tendonitis and arthritis or whatever. Like not like an actual like injury, but something that's like a nagging thing that can come and go and could be fine. I guess he dealt with this at points of the season last year, missed a couple of games due to it, and it just flared up in the second quarter. He tried to play a few more plays on it, but they decided to sit him out. I'm not sure how long he's going to be out. Like I said, it could be one of those things where he wakes up in a few days and it's fine, or it could be something that, we're going to have to manage all season, and he's just going to have to either play with the pain or sit out for an extended period. I hope that's not the case, but it's really hard to know exactly how those are going to heal. Yeah, to a lesser extent, that's kind of what's going on with my knee right now. So kind of.
You're dealing with the same thing?
I kind of have a little bit of knowledge on that right now, but yeah, so
I thought you were going to say you got a little bit of Norm in you right now.
No, I have I sat out, so they told me to not play for 2 weeks, and so I did that, and then I played, and it basically hurt for another 2 weeks. And over the weekend I got up from sitting down, and it was the first time in over a month that it didn't like crack or like give me a lot of pain when I sat up or stood up. And so feeling pretty good. I'm going to play this week and see how it goes. But yeah, it's one of those things where it could just nag for a while.
Yeah. I have had knee issues with that tendon. The thing is it's not the same thing. I have really tight IT bands.
Oh my God.
So that's my issue, is the knee pain. I get a lot of knee pain from having tight IT bands. So what do you say, oh my God, to?
Bobby took chat to a place that
Oh my god. Oh, I just read that. Oh wow. I've read that and I didn't think about. Okay, yeah. Anyway. Um, uh,
Thanks for
yeah,
watching, Bonnie.
we're not paying. Good job not saying that on air. Yeah, we don't wanna go there. Anyway. What else you want to preview with this game? Is there any part of this game you want to preview, or you just want to go into tonight, see what's gonna happen?
Yeah, so the technical stuff, we got all that all the way. But to me, it's just how's their attitude going to be, the Blazers? Do they come into this game hungry, not, being too happy or taking for granted the success of Saturday and realizing that how much hard work that took to get to the point to play that well? I'm hoping that they treat every game like the next opportunity to do something like they did Saturday, instead of seemingly like the last couple of years where they've had a good game like Saturday, maybe not to that extent, but then follow that up by just going back and being the same kind of passive team. So hopefully Chauncey's mentality is instilled in them for that kind of purpose of just having that killer mentality every single night, and not or realizing how important this is. And if this is only a 1-game road trip, but if it was 2 games, not having the attitude like, well, if we just split these 2 games on the road, it's great. Having that attitude like, no, we need to win both of these games, and like we're not gonna do that. And I just feel like this game is so important with this stretch coming up. We win this, we're 2-1. We're coming home for 2 games, play the Clippers again, play Grizzlies as well. So you feel really good about them at home against those 2 teams if they win this one on the road. And then all of a sudden you're talking about maybe being, 3-2, 4-1 by the time they go out on that big East Coast road trip. And I think that would put them in a really good position. So I hope that they just come out with that killer mentality tonight and just put the league on notice that this team's for real.
Yep. It'll be fun to see how our young guys perform, and Nas, because they've had a good start to the season. So can they build upon that, especially if Nas gets the starting job tonight? I would go with an 8-man rotation in this game, Eric.
Mm-hmm.
I would do a 3-guard rotation as normal with Dame, CJ, and Anthony Simons. I would do a 3-forward rotation with Nasir Little, Robert Covington, and Larry Nance Jr. And then I would rotate Nurkic and Zeller at the center spot. So if you do a 3-forward rotation with those 3 forwards that I mentioned, each of them could play on average 32 minutes a game apiece. Maybe Rocco gets a couple more minutes. Maybe Larry Nance Jr. gets a couple more minutes. I don't know. But overall, getting those 3 guys 32 minutes a game would be nice. It'd be nice to get Larry Nance Jr. on the court more. I feel like he probably hasn't been playing enough. He's been playing around 16 to 20 minutes. So being able to get him upwards of 30 minutes would be nice, just because it seems like he's still not fully playing like himself in this system. He's not playing bad by any means, but I think he can have a bigger impact than he's shown. And then Nasir Little, confidence boost with a 30-minute game, especially if he plays good defense against Paul George, I think will be a good thing as we head into the season.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a little bit of Dennis Smith Jr. just to give some of those guys a little bit of a rest. But like you said, if you rotate them properly, they could all play around 30 minutes and you don't really have to worry about that. But I also think they might insert him if like one of Jackson or Bledsoe is going off. I think Dennis Smith Jr. could come in and maybe just take his shot at defending one of those 2 and see if he can disrupt them a little bit. So it's nice to have a disruptor on the bench and someone who can come in and run the offense and push the pace and stuff. So if they're stagnant or lack of energy at any point in this game, I wouldn't hesitate to throw him in there as well. But I agree, as long as the game's going well, you might as well stick with an 8-man rotation.
Yep, I agree. Shout out to Monty for another $2 dono. He says, "How's everyone watching games?" Root Sports. Wink. Root Sports, of course. It's just a phenomenal TV company. Yeah. Hopefully they figure things out more, man.
I've been lucky enough so far that every game I've been at home, but stuff happens. I have work and family and stuff, but there's often times where I need to watch the game on my phone or from a different location, and I don't have any options to stream the games legally this year. So I'm going to run into that problem very soon, but as of right now, I have Root Sports at home, so I'm good there. Damani, if you need to come over and watch the game.
Devani needs a way to watch the game. Yeah. They need to figure things out, man. It's not good. I do have League Pass, so maybe with the VPN. That's the thing is, like, I have Xfinity. So I have the channel. I don't know. People have said use League Pass with a VPN. I'm not going to advocate for something that probably is in a gray area legally, right? I'm not going to advocate for that on air, but I mean, whatever you feel like you got to do to watch the game, I mean, that's your choice. That's all I'm going to say.
The problem is, like, they're almost forcing people to do that,
Yeah.
It's like, oh, well, we don't care. Just do it then. It's like, okay. So yeah, I mean, I don't feel bad or as bad as I would have in previous years, like mentioning the legal streams on the air. But like, I mean, they're pretty much giving us no options for certain people that don't
just
have access to Comcast.
Options. You'll get your money. Because that's all. The only reason they don't want people watching illegal streams is because they don't make money off of it.
Yeah.
So they just want their money. So just give us options. You will get your money. It's not that complicated. But the Root Sports, by all accounts, is asking for way too much. So they've kind of backed. They've kind of backed people into a corner in terms of their viewing options. So overall, yeah, it's rough. So I can watch it here. I like watching games outside of the home. I just like getting out of the house, man. And it's like I'll stream here. I want to get out of the house. I would love to watch the first half of the game somewhere else. I'm not gonna dox myself and say where I'd go, but yeah, I would like to watch it somewhere else, but I can't. So yeah, I'll be here at like 7:30 because that's the game. The tip-off time is late tonight. It is at 7:30. It is on NBA TV, so those of you who aren't local can watch it on NBA TV if you have it.
Nice.
Yeah. So anyway, anything else for the stream, Eric?
Nave says his Root talks about moving to streaming services. So apparently they've given up on YouTube and Hulu, but they might, or they do have Fubo TV, but it's like the least expensive package is like $65 a month or something, and they don't even have TNT, so you can't watch any of the games that are on TNT because those ones aren't on. I mean, I know there's not a lot of TNT games this year, but not getting to watch any of the games on Thursday night kind of sucks too. So there's like not good options either way. But yeah. So the audio of the stream will be uploaded to Spotify probably within 15 minutes after it. So if you want to listen back to any part of this preview, we're going to cut out picks against the spread. It doesn't make sense to have on Spotify because it's a lot of dead airtime and a lot of graphical stuff that won't be able to be used on Spotify with an audio-only platform. So the audio of this preview will be up on Spotify. We'll do that with all future episodes of Blazers Uprise Live. Sometimes it'll be 15, 20 minutes. Sometimes it'll be 40 minutes. Depends on picks against the spread and everything. So the post-game stream audio from the Phoenix game has been up there. We're uploading audio for all streams to Spotify this year. Just go to Spotify, search Portland Trailblazers in podcasts, and click on our podcast. I guess it's a podcast on Spotify. So if you listen to stuff on Spotify, it also helps us rank better on Spotify.
which might help more people find us. So overall, it's just a win-win. Another option for you guys to take in the content and a way for us to maybe get some more ears on our product. Anyway, Eric, I'll give you one final word before I hit the outro. What do you want to say, man?
Well, I'll do two quick things. Shervin wanted to bring up, it's going to be interesting to see how Chauncey game plans for the Clippers trapping Dame if they do that, which they probably will. So that'll be one thing we'll be talking about after the game to see how the Blazers deal with those traps if they do that. And then I just want to let everyone know that we appreciate you and thank you for tuning in and watching.
Yep, 2 thumbs up to that. We will catch you later tonight with the post-game show going live around 10 p.m. Pacific time, assuming this game doesn't go into OT. It's a late game, so it'll be a later post-game stream than usual. Hopefully, we're able to see you there. And with that, we're out of here. Until I catch you next, as always, peace out. Go Blazers.